Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ramjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ramjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 74, entitled The Deliverance of Shishupal. Text is number 36. Repeat after me, please. Yayati naisham hi kulam saptam shabdir bahishkritam vritha panaratam shashvat saparyam katam arhati Yayati naisham ikulam Shaptam Shabdir Bahishkritam Vrita Panaratam Shashvat Saparyam Katam Arhati Yayati naisham ikulam Yayatina by Yayati. Esham there. Ha he indeed. Kulam dynasty. Shaptam was cursed. Sabdi by well-behaved persons. Bahikritam ostracized. Vrita wantonly. What means wantonly? Okay. Pana to drinking. Ratam addicted. Shashvat always. Saparyam worship. Katham how. Arhati does he deserve. Translation and purport by the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yayati cursed the dynasty of these Yadavas, and ever since then they have been ostracized by honest men and addicted to liquor. How then does Krishna deserve to be worshipped? Purport. Srila Visvanath Chakravarti gives the inner meaning of the words of Shishupal to show how he continued unintentionally glorifying Lord Krishna and his Yadu dynasty. Even though the Yadus were cursed by Yayati, they have been relieved by his Kritam of the curse by great saints, and consequently they have been raised to a position of royal sovereignty by such persons as Kartavirya. Thus they have become absorbed in Pana, protecting the earth. Considering all this, how does Krishna, the chief of the Yadus, deserve useless Vrita worship? Rather, he deserves opulent worship. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyad Zadarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhatta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So these are the last minutes of life of Shishupal. The last words he is uttering. And as we will see later on, Krishna, although he is insulted like this, he doesn't move an inch, he doesn't protest. Until Shishupal started offending the Vaishnavas, but we will see afterwards. So here Shishupal is criticizing Krishna because he said that you belong to you have been cursed, your dynasty has been cursed by Yayati, and so you cannot be successful in being the main personality to be worshipped. As we see from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the lineage of these kings, they were very much stressed. So if we consider, now we will see on the board, maybe somebody can put down the screen, we will see the lineage. This Yayati appeared many generations before. So thank you. It's okay. Yeah. So the blood lineage, they were so much important because from let's say from Brahma gave birth or manifested 9 Prajapatis. So these Prajapatis, they were meant to, okay, I have to move this thing, okay. Good. So these Prajapatis were meant to populate the universe. So there were Prajapatis meant to propagate the Kshatriya clan, and others were meant to propagate the Brahmana clan. So how many of you know the tradition of your family up to Lord Brahma or one of these sages? I don't think many of you. Personally, I didn't even know my grandfather, so I don't know if somebody of you maybe can trace up the lineage. But so we will, I will do something like that. Sorry, I have to stand up, if you don't mind. So, thanks to Svayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj, he made this nice chart. So here we see, we have Yayati is up here, and Krishna is down here, and here we have Shishupal. So these are the numbers of the generations. So from Yayati down to arrive to Krishna this way, we have a lot of generations. So we see here, Yayati, he had 2 wives. One is Devayani and the other one is Sarmishta. We read about this story some time ago, but I want to make just a short explanation of this happening. So this Yayati, this Devayani and Sarmishta were 2 friends, 2 girls, and they were together with other girls. They were sporting in the gardens of their village, and they removed their clothing, and they were on the lake. They were like playing, splashing water. So what happened that Lord Shiva passed by with by riding his bull Nandishvar together with a wife Uma, and this girl they were seen approaching, so they started feeling a little bit ashamed. So they went out and they dressed quickly. But what happened that Devayani put on the dressings. No, the opposite. Sarmishta put on the dressings of Devayani, and they started to quarrel. And at the end, they were rebuking each other very heavily, like because they were. Devayani was the daughter of Shukracharya, and Sarmishta was the daughter of another king. of a king. So they started to insulting each other. So this kshatriya girl started offending this brahmana girl by telling her, you are like, you depend from us, you come to our door and we feed you, you do nothing. and this brahmana girl, she started accusing the daughter of the kshatriya, Sarmista, and she started saying, you are, we are the brahmanas, we are the best in the society, Lord Vishnu, it's through our mouth. So they started an argument. So at the end, Devayani, the daughter of Shukracharya, was stripped and put into the lake. And all the other girls, they went back to the town. So what happened, Yayati passed by there, and he wanted to drink, and he saw this girl inside the water, and so he helped her come out of the water. He gave his garment to cover, so he gave her the hand to help her. And this girl, she said, now you have touched me, you are my husband. Nobody else can touch me anymore. So it so happened that because Yayati wanted to know which caste she belonged, because she wanted to know, he wanted to know, but which is your lineage? Because for a kshatriya to marry a lady from a brahmana clan was quite unusual and not much sanctioned by the scriptures. The opposite was not a problem, because for Kardama Muni and Devauti, Kardama Muni was a brahmana, and he married Devauti, who was the daughter of Manu. He's a kshatriya. So they married, but because this Devayani was the daughter of Shukracharya, Shukracharya was very powerful brahmana. So this Devayani went home, and she started crying to the father, Sarmishta did this to me. So he got angry, and he wanted to go to the father of this Sarmishta to curse him. And but this king heard about, this brahmana is coming. So as soon as he heard that he was coming, he immediately went out of the palace. He like paid obeisances, please excuse me, forgive me. So Shukracharya was pacified, and he said, okay, you tell me what you want, whatever you want, okay. So Devayani said, I want that Sarmishta becomes my servant, and okay, the king said, okay, I allow this, but at one condition. The Shukracharya said to this Yayati, I give you my daughter in marriage, and I entrust you also this Sarmishta, but you should have only sex with my daughter, with anybody else. So after some time, they got married. After some time, this Sarmishta was induced Yayati to have sex. So, and when Devayani discovered this, oh my God, she went furious. And she went again to the father to complain, Shukracharya. And Shukracharya came, and he said to Yayati, I curse you to become old and invalid. And Yayati said, but I have not yet satisfied my desires, and also I have to satisfy the desire of your daughter. So if I become old, I cannot do that. So he said, okay, you can be relieved from this curse only if one of your sons take your old age and exchange it with this young age. So Yayati went to the sons and he asked to two sons. He asked, you want to take my old age, you give me your young age? No, no, thank you. Okay, so he sent them they went away. They went to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada explains that two of these sons, they went to the west and they started the Roman tradition and the Greek tradition. So this is quite long time. They came in Europe. So, and then Yadu also didn't accept. The only one who accepted this was Puru. So, the tradition, came down. Yeah, and we have, you see, Bharata is after Puru. There is Dushmanta, Bharata. So when Krishna says, best of the Bharata, we are referring to that Bharata. And best of the Kuru, also sometimes Kuru, you see, Kuru is on top. The Pandavas are down here, Pandu, Arjuna. And here we have, it's funny because when Shishupal said this, because you are part of your dynasty has been cursed by Yayati. And this was the same argument also that Krishna used when he killed Kamsa. When Krishna killed Kamsa, they asked him to become the king. But Krishna said, no, because my ancestors have been cursed, so it better he goes to Ugrasena. You see Ugrasena down there? So Ugrasena was the king, so was reinstated as a king. But also Ugrasena is coming from that line. So we say, okay, Krishna wants this, I do. I surrender. So these traditions are kept for, even though they are so long ago, still they had influence. Now we are in Kali Yuga, that's Dwapara Yuga, so it's another age. Now we are in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, Kalo Sudra Sambhava, everybody is burned like a Sudra, so we don't have much to think about. So we have to perform the reformatory process. I have to check one thing here. Is there any questions so far?
Shishupal, he's near, very close to Krishna, right?
Yeah, exactly. So here we have Surasena. Surasena is the father of Vasudeva, Kunti. He had 4 daughters. One of these daughters gave birth to Shishupal. So it was kind of long relative. So it's interesting to see that we have here we have Devaki. So And here, somewhere here, there is Devaka.
Up.
Yeah, okay, here. Okay, Devaka and Devaki. So you see how important was to keep the tradition, the lineage, no? Once it's amazing. Okay, wait 1 minute. All right, yeah. Okay. This is very nice. Devotees don't tolerate when Krishna is blasphemed, of course. So they like in this case with Vishwanath Chakravarti, all the offenses that are addressed to Lord Krishna, he transformed them in glorifications. There is a similar story in the life of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya had a teacher. His teacher was Mayavadi, and his name was Yadava Prakash. So I read a little excerpt from a lecture of Radhadesh Swami. It tells about this story. One day it is explained that Yadava Prakash, after the classes, he asked Ramanuja to stay back because Ramanuja was his favorite and dearmost of all students, because he was so obedient and so humble and so anxious to learn and so capable of learning. So he sent all the other students away. He asked the Ramanuja to massage his legs with oil. Ramanuja was very humbly massaging his legs, and then one student came back and he asked his teacher, I have a question in terms of one of the shlokas from the Chandogya Upanishad. Here it is described that the lotus eyes of Lord Narayana are like the beautiful reddish color. Can you explain this in more detail? So his guru explained, according to Shankaracharya's verse, that the meaning of this is that he used the Sanskrit that the eyes of Narayana are beautiful reddish color like the rear end of a monkey. He was going on explaining it this way, and Ramanujacharya, when he heard this blaspheme to Lord Narayana, just tears started flowing from his eyes, and tears were hot, and they started falling on the body of his guru. And his guru felt these burning hot tears, and he looked up and saw Ramanuja in great distress, crying. So Yadava Prakash said, why are you crying? He said, because I cannot tolerate hearing this blaspheme of my Lord. What do you mean? He said, how can you compare the lotus eyes of Lord Narayana to the rear end of a monkey? He said, this is Shankaracharya explanation. I am repeating. Can you think of something better? Then Ramanuja very, very expertly and poetically explained the same Sanskrit verse to explain that the real meaning is that his eyes are red like the red lotus that is in the presence of the shining sun. So at that time, Yadava Prakash became very angry. He said, you think you know better than our Acharya Shankar? You think you know better than your own guru? So this is the, and then the story goes on that Yadava Prakash saw him like a threat. So they disguised the plan to kill Ramanujacharya with the other disciples. But by the Lord's mercy, he was saved. right? Anybody else? I want to read a quick story. So here we are preparing for a Rajasuya sacrifice. Can you imagine the scene? So we are ready, the fire yagya is ready, and they have to select the first person to receive the worship, and there is this argument is going on. And Shishupala starting using abusive words towards Krishna. Everybody is very agitated, ready to fight, but at the end Krishna will kill Shishupala on the spot. So this is Kali Yuga is approaching, is coming soon, very fast. After the battle of Kurukshetra, there was another sacrifice, big sacrifice organized. That was Ashwamedha Yagya. And because they wanted to kind of get rid of all the sinful reactions occurred by this big battle, this carnage that happened during this huge battle. So then, so after the battle, they did the same thing. So Yudhishthira sent the four brothers in the four corners of the world to with these challenge horses to see if anybody was against the performance of this sacrifice. So these horses, they went in the four directions, and each horse was followed by one of the brothers of Yudhishthira together with the army. So in case somebody wanted to say no, we are against, so they were ready to fight. And some people also tried to find this. There is a story, somebody, but they were conquered. So when the four Pandavas came back, they reported something strange that people relate to them. So Bhima came back and he said, a farmer reported him that he saw the fence of the neighbor slowly moving into his compound. How can the fence move? So this farmer saw the fence moving. What's going on? Then he said, a potter alerted him that he had a big pot and several small pots. He filled up the big pot and poured the content inside the small. When he put back the liquid from the small to the big, there was just half pot where the water was gone. Then a man reported that he saw a person threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. Funny thing was the elephant passed, but the tail got stuck. It's impossible. Then he saw 5 wells very, very close to one another in the field. 4 of these were overflowing with water, but one between them was dry. And then another nearly similar was that the central pond was bigger and dry, and the other smaller were full. And the people, they were going to the small, and nobody was going to the big. Then Arjuna reported, somebody saw a ghastly scene while roaming in the forest. He was attracted by a nice singing of a cuckoo. When he went to the place from where the sound emanated, he saw the melodious bird shredding to piece a rabbit. So this cuckoo was killing a rabbit. Then he saw an elephant with two trunks. Nakula, he went to the cow shed and he saw a cow licking the newly born calf, and he was licking and licking, even if the calf dried up, and the skin of the calf was bleeding by the cow's continuing licking. The cow forced anyway. It didn't stop. She didn't stop the job. And then Sahadeva, he saw a big rock falling off of a cliff, coming down. The size and the speed made it practically unstoppable. But when this big rock touched a small plant on the midway, it completely stopped from rolling and became stationary. So there were quite strange things, no? They reported. So they asked Yudhishthira, what, can you give an explanation to this thing? I don't know. So they asked Krishna. Krishna smiled and he said, Kali Yuga is beginning. So the panda wanted an explanation of all these things. So the fence moving, represent the greed and dissatisfaction. People in Kali Yuga want more and more and are never happy with what they have, and they want to usurp the neighbor properties. Is a typical sign of Kali Yuga. Sometimes they argue even for half a meter, no, of the border between two properties. Oh, this is mine. No. The second one, the big pot, symbolized partial reciprocation. So the pot that was full and that they poured in small, and then when they put back, it was half. The big pot symbolized partial reciprocation. In Kali Yuga, no matter how much love you give, you can expect only half in return. The elephant passing the eye of a needle, but the tail remains stuck, represent avarice and stinginess. People want to spend a lot on themselves, but very little or nothing for charity purposes. 4. Overflowing ponds represent the existence of the poor among the rich. In Kali Yuga, the rich will become richer and the poor poorer. The big empty pond and the small ponds symbolize the disdain for the wise and the erudite and the respect for the foolish and fake. Like we see nowadays, now there are these influencers, now they are influencing the society with this but they don't have any qualification, no? They just have a little charisma, people are attracted, and even though they are less cultured and not bad behavior, bad behaved. In Kali Yuga, wise people with deep understanding and knowledge will lack followers. This is the point. Whereas shallow men will have unlimited supporters. The melodious cuckoo reaping the rabbit represent exploitation. People speak sweetly, but with the intent of manipulating and exploiting. The elephant with two trunks represent the double face of people in Kali Yuga. One for the world and one for themselves. They will lead a duplicitous life. This is interesting. The cow peeling the skin of the calf symbolizes the overindulgence of parents toward their children. In Kali Yuga, the parents will spoil the children by so many excesses, with a consequent erosion of their moral and ethical values, eventually render them unfit for the society. This is very, very much seen, no? I saw an interview once. There was one man, he was in Milano. He was interviewing these children, and they were asking, can you explain how you're dressed and the cost of your clothing? He said, yes, so this is a cap from this and this, cost 100 euros. My pullover is, I don't know, Versace, whatever, is 400 euros, and the trousers are 500. So they calculate one boy, he had 3,500 euros. 3,500, one boy like 17, 18 years old. You know, can you imagine? How can you teach them, you know, to live simple? No, if they are accustomed to live with this standard, it will be very difficult for them. But the ninth, the final one, the big rock falling down, is the best part. Is the best part of Kali Yuga. So the big rock falling down and the little twig stopping represent represents the holy name. So even though this Kali Yuga is like falling down at great speed and very heavily, it's stopped by the holy name. So the holy name can stop the progress of Kali Yuga, even though it seems like impossible for a little twig to stop a big rock. In Kali Yuga, the weight of the people's sins will be so much that their spiritual, moral, and ethical will be so much. Krishna's name will stop the rapid descent into deep immorality, blasphemy, and materialism. So, at least we have a nice ending of the story. Kali Yuga is very... the tiny plant represents the remembering of the Lord. The burden of sin may be heavy, but the chanting of the holy name of the Lord nullifies all sinful reactions immediately. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any addiction or anything to add or any question. Otherwise, I tell you a quick story, last quick story. After this Asvamedha Yagya, after the successfully ending of the Asvamedha Yagya, the Pandavas and Krishna, they saw two Brahmanas arguing. And they saw two Brahmanas arguing because at the end of the sacrifice, the king has to give in charity as much as he can. So he completely covered of gold all the Brahmanas, everybody. And so he saw these two Brahmanas arguing and said, there is something which is not good, which is going on. So they asked them and they said, what's wrong? Why you are arguing? You are not satisfied? No, because I bought a piece of land from this Brahmana, and while digging, I found a treasure. So I went to this Brahmana back and I said, this is your treasure because it was in your field, I give you back. And the other Brahmana was saying, no, I sold you the land, you keep the treasure, it's in your land, I don't want it. And so they heard this, they didn't know how to react. So Krishna intervened and he said, okay, we will settle the matter in 3 months. So leave here the treasure and in 3 months you come back. So after 3 months, these two brahmanas were coming back and they were still arguing. But before this, they said, Yudhishthira asked Krishna, why 3 months? You cannot settle now the thing? No, he said, because in 3 months, Kali Yuga will be started. So these two brahmanas were coming back and they were saying, no, that was my land, that treasure is mine. No, I bought the land from you, the treasure is mine now. So they were arguing exactly for the opposite reason. And so Krishna had the treasure. He said, okay, we divide in two. We gave to both of them half of the treasure. So we don't have to be surprised if we see Kali Yuga. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yes, sir.
Send me the